Hello, my amigos. It is me, Shawn Hilton, owner, founder, creator of Comics Cubed, right here in the heart of downtown Kokomo, where large vehicles go by in the background and mess with our sound. But that's okay, because the Hillbillies and Hilljacks can't stop the Comics Cubed review today! Welcome to the inside of Comics Cubed at 1139 South Ohio, down here in Kokomo. First up today, we've got some winners of a weekly prize that we do. We have a drawing every week to raise money for the local Kokomo Humane Society. We also have a drawing every week to raise money for the Comics Cubed Excelsior Scholarship, which we'll be giving out the very first one this Sunday at Taylor High School. So, first up this week, Tammy Long has won herself a copy of Batman number 20, the alternate cover, for donating money to the Comic Book Scholarship Fund, the Excelsior Fund. And Cody Miller has also won an alternate cover of Batman number 20 for donating his pocket change to the Kokomo Humane Society. This week we have two different prizes. For the Kokomo Humane Society this week, we will be giving up a regular show number 1 variant cover, which all you have to do is stop by Comics Cubed and drop off some pocket change, fill out your name and phone number, you're entered to win. And for the Comics Cubed Excelsior Scholarship Fund, which we're trying to raise $1,000 for by December 31st, we have got a copy of My Little Pony number 7 variant cover. The variant covers are 1 in 10, which means you have to buy 10 copies of My Little Pony to get 1 copy of this particular book, making it a little more rare and harder to find. Over the years, I've got a chance to read a lot of cool books. I've got to geek out about a lot of things, from James Robinson's Starman to John Ostrander's Spectre to the Simonson, Archie, Manhunter series in the backup of Detective Comics. The most recent thing that I personally get to geek out about and share with you is 5 Ghosts from Image Comics. Now, number 2's just arrived back in the store as a second printing. Number 1's will restock next week, and as well as having brand new number 1 second printings of it, we will have number 3 for the first time in a first printing. Fabian Gray here, and the 5 Ghosts of Fabian Gray as it's called, is an action pulp adventure, over-the-top kind of level excitement, literary stuff going on. Indiana Jones meets Uncharted with a 1940s kind of Hellboy feel, using all kinds of different things to try and bring you in. But what's really most important about this particular book to me is, right now, besides Hawkeye, this is my favorite book. So when people ask, hey, comic guy, what is it you read? Comic fan, thanks for asking that question, because it does my heart good to feel that you really care. And right now, Comic Guy is reading The 5 Ghosts of Fabian Gray, and I believe that you should too. I believe it so strongly that I will offer a money-back guarantee. If you buy The 5 Ghosts of Fabian Gray at Comics Cubed right here in the heart of beautiful downtown Kokomo, I'll give you your money back if you think it sucks. I also think you're an idiot, but regardless, I'll still give you your money back. So check out The 5 Ghosts of Fabian Gray, because it's awesome. Next up, Battlestar Galactica number 1 from Dynamite. Abnett and Landing, pretty much known for doing their Marvel kind of universal, interstellar, cosmic-y kind of stuff. Basically, the Guardians of the Galaxy before it got relaunched. Now, the president, owner, CEO of this particular company, Nick, who usually buys all the booze at the C2E2 seminar to teach all of us how to sell better comics, is always a good friend to all his retailers because, well, he provides all the free booze. So thanks, Nick. Nick was incredibly excited about bringing us Battlestar Galactica number 1. He was incredibly excited about the fact that he had landed the premier names, quite frankly, in science fiction and cosmic comic book creation right now, which is Abnett and Landing. Quite frankly, thought it was boring as piss, Nick. But that brings us right here to Fables from DC Comics Vertigo line, which is an amazing book. So once you get past Cylons and all that stuff and you don't want to read that, come and check out Fables from the DC line, which is one of my personal favorites. We have basically 1 through 18 currently in stock on trade paperback format, so you get a nice, cool, thick story. Fans of that ABC show Once Upon a Time are going to love it. Why are you going to love it? Because basically they ripped it off. Turns out ABC is owned by Disney. Disney has a ton of money. They went into talks with these guys to land this particular item for their particular television show. And guess what? They couldn't come to an agreement. So they did what ABC always does. They ripped off the idea, they twisted it, they tweaked it, they made it their own, and now they made a new show called Once Upon a Time. But let's just keep in mind that before Once Upon a Time, what they really wanted to put on the air, what they wanted you to watch, was actually Fables. So come on into Comics Cube and give Fables a chance. And I'm not saying don't read Battlestar. If you're a huge Battlestar fan, you're going to probably like it. But quite frankly, I think Nick oversold the goods. I think you might have played Abbott and Landy or whatever their names are a little too much money for that particular book. Because the one thing it was to me was a little boring. Now maybe Star Trek and Star Wars and Battlestar are seen as interchangeable by some people, but not by this comic geek. Battlestar is its very own separate thing, Star Trek is its own separate thing, and Star Wars is its own separate thing. Until Abrams somehow gets the Battlestar Galactica license, in which case they're all the same damn thing. Green Hornet by Mark Waid. Now, Mark Waid, currently over at Marvel, is doing Daredevil, which he is kicking some serious hornhead butt on. So Daredevil's got little horns on his head, so he's called Hornhead sometimes. And the Indestructible Hulk, which has very quickly become one of my favorite. And a trade paperback for that did come in. So if you're looking to pick up issue number 1 through like 6 of Indestructible Hulk, that just came in today. But what we're talking about here is the Green Hornet. Now this isn't the Green Hornet that the fat dude from Freaks and Geeks made, or any of that kind of stuff. This is Mark Waid's take kind of on the original character, Brett Reed, all that kind of cool pulp action with a little bit of a modern twist. Green Hornet currently is really well done. It's a great story. Mark Waid is just creating some interesting stuff. He is really just going with the fact that Green Hornet is a bad guy. At least that is the image that he goes out and kind of gives. Very similar to the Shroud from Marvel, which came later, which I think is very much based probably on the Green Hornet. The Green Hornet exists as Brett Reed, newspaper publisher, as good guy. But he has gone out and created the image of him being this horrific bad guy to keep all the other bad guys in line, make him the mob boss whenever they're going to do anything. They tell him, which gives him the chance to thwart the plan and do all that. Also, you got your Kato. Kato made famous by Bruce Lee, but in this, obviously it's comics, so really no Bruce Lee's necessary. Check it out. Really good pulp action, perfect for a Shadow, Doc Savage, Lone Ranger fan. Little known fact, Green Hornet is indirectly related to the Lone Ranger. Wiki it, trust me, I'm the comic guy. Hey, Nova, Marvel Comics. We're looking at some Jeff Loeb, Ed McGuinness and Dexter Vines. Ed McGuinness and Dexter Vines, a great team known for working on Superman and Batman from DC, coming over doing a really cool all ages style book. Now when I say all ages, this isn't actually set up just for little kiddies. It just happens to be, it's kind of an old school comic that fits a wide demographic of ages. Anybody from an 8-year-old up to a 40-year-old or older, because now I'm 40 and I could be 41 soon. Regardless of all that, a book that is going to appeal to a lot of people, a new character, a new Nova. Richard Rider appears to be very dead. Marvel is saying he's very dead. Richard Rider, that ain't right. I want to know what comic guy even got away with coming up with that name. And this new thing, we got a little Sam Alexander character here, younger guy, preteen, just becoming a teenager, I believe, getting the powers of Nova, so you're following this kid character. Jeff Loeb, you're going to know from all kinds of different TV series. He's been involved in everything. In fact, they've just announced that Ed McGuinness, will be leaving this book after the very first story arc because Jeff has to go off and probably ruin S.H.I.E.L.D. for all of us. Because the one thing that Jeff is not incredibly well known for is putting out amazing stories. This appears to be the exception to that rule because unfortunately for me, Mr. Loeb seems to be the kind of guy who does a really, really good job sometimes and then just goes for a bunt on occasion instead of the home run. With this right now, he's definitely hitting home runs. He's going all kinds of sports analogies, hat tricks, winning the Indy 500, whatever, horseshoes, whatever they do in that, and triple things and darts. I don't know. Really sharp book, a lot of interstellar action, great dialogue, very sharp. Kids are going to dig it. A little bit of sarcasm, a little bit of action, a little bit of everything. For anybody that mentions they happen to see this particular program, you come in today, you say, or whenever this week, you come in and you go, hey, I saw that thing you guys do on the Kokomo Perspective where you do the Cubed and Review. We've got the new Super Smash Brothers right here in Kokomo, guys. They've got a bunch of CDs they brought me. Well, a bunch. They bring me a handful. I'm going to pass them out, but to get them, you got to tell me that you saw this particular show. Super Smash Brothers, upbeat tempo, rappy hip-hop kind of thing, done by gents right here in Kokomo. Big week for the Bat Sub Crew, the follow-ups, the runners-ups, the has-beens, and the wannabes. Nightwing's out this week. Batgirl's out this week. Red Hood and the Outlaws is out this week. Batwoman is out this week. Catwoman is out this week. Everything but an actual Batman title is out this week. So DC took out all the stops to give us all of the sidekicks of the Bat universe all in 1 week. So you can catch up on all of your underage bat freaks and all that kind of stuff. Thanks, guys. We greatly appreciate it. Meanwhile, back to Marvel Comics, who is making content that's actually selling and making me money. Avengers, The Enemy Within. We find that the female Captain Marvel, who I believe is the only Captain Marvel currently in the Marvel Universe, has some kind of brain tumor lesion, something in her brain that makes it so every time she uses her powers, horrible things are starting to happen. Her life is being threatened. She could die. Well, that's every comic. Marvel, really? I mean, you had to introduce a horrible brain thing to make it more interesting? Cosmic alien invasions don't cut it enough? Superpowered villains trying to kill people doesn't cut it enough? Calling it Avengers The Enemy Within, though, is like trying to say that the Avengers are really involved when the Avengers are almost like I just made fun of the rest of the Batman universe. It's all superfluous. This is really a Captain Marvel story. Pretty sharp book overall. Avengers fans will dig it just because it does tie into and touch on the Avengers universe. I think new comics fans could dig it just to see the start of a new series, and it's going to go through Avengers Assemble and some other stuff. But overall, it's a Captain Marvel book. So if you're a Captain Marvel fan, you are going to love The Avengers Within. If you're an Avengers fan, you're probably going to like The Avengers Within. If you're just looking for something new to read this week, it's not a bad choice, as long as you don't go in expecting to actually see all of the Avengers in some big, throwdown galactic battle with Galactus or the Skrulls or something, because that's just not going to happen. This is really a more intimate portrayal of Captain Marvel dealing with the fact that she has this horrible thing in her head and it's causing her to have some grief and agony and make some really tough choices. Marvel's Age of Ultron, number 8. Last couple of issues, spoiler, Wolverine, Sue Storm go back in time and kill Henry Pym before he can create Ultron. They think, hey, that's great, because when they get back to the world, there are still people there instead of robots taking over the entire damn world. Unfortunately, they still screwed up a bunch of crap, and the timeline's still nasty and messed up. And instead of going back to the world they wanted, they did get some world with humans. Unfortunately, now it's a world with magic versus technology. The Avengers don't even exist anymore because, well, Hank Pym was murdered. So now they're the Avenging Defenders or something silly like that. So in this, we have Wolverine versus Wolverine. We've got a messed up technological Tony Stark as the leader of the unfree world because he's pretty much made it a police state to protect everybody. And Morgana Le Fay as the magic-wielding mad woman who is bent on destruction. So basically, Wolverine and Sue went back in time, killed a guy, saved humanity, and then caused another horrible, horrible, disgusting giant crossover that Marvel could write about right here. Now, this is going to lead into, I believe in 2 issues, to the appearance of Neil Gaiman's character, Angela, who just won a huge lawsuit against Todd McFarlane not that long ago. So this will be one of the first times we've seen a character jump ship from one company to another company due to a legal precedent. So it could be kind of interesting to see what's going to happen and what they're going to do, and if Neil Gaiman is going to have anything to do at all with the actual story taking place in Age of Ultron. According to Marvel, we'll never guess the ending. It's some big shocker, and it's going to be a game changer. But right now, it's all up in the air. I can't really tell you. Even I don't know. So, great issue, more action, and a lot of intrigue going on with all the little twists and changes. It's an interesting new world, but I really hope we don't get stuck in this world all by itself, because if that's what they're going to do, I'm going to be incredibly pissed off. That's about it here on the Comics Cubed in Review kind of section today with me and Mr. Producer Man making this stuff up. Don't forget, the BBC America screwed up and released the second part of this season of Doctor Who already. So if you're hearing spoilers about the very ending of Doctor Who this season that hasn't even aired yet, well, they're probably true. Good going, BBC America. And that's why we don't drink tea and salute the Queen. Thank you for checking us out. This is Comics Cubed. We'll be having a Coke. Screw tea. Thanks for watching.